so question one of the independent practice, again, I'm substituting, so I'm going to look at both of the equations and see which one's the easiest one to start with. And the easiest one would be the second one because there's a y already by itself. So to solve for it, I only have to move the x over. So I'm going to start with that equation over here. And I am going to solve for y so that I have y by itself. All I have to do is move the x over. So y equals negative 3x plus 23. This is the value of y. Okay, so now I have to start with that first equation and plug in this instead of y. Okay, so they kind of jumble together, but the right equation is that first one. And you can see that instead of the letter y, I plug in the value that I got for y on here. Okay, so that's what substituting means. Now my the first thing I'm going to do is distributive property. So the negative 8, I have to distribute it over here. So I'm going to use another color. Give me a second. So I have 8x, I still put it down, nothing happened to that one. And then negative 8 times negative 3x would give me positive 24x. And negative 8 times positive 23 gives me negative 184. And that equals to negative 24. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to regroup. I have two x's that I can put together. So 24 plus 8 would give me 32. So I have 32x minus 184 gives me negative 24. Okay, so now I'm going to have to move the 184 over. I have the two-step equation. So plus 184 plus 184. So now I have 32x equals, and this gives me 160. And now my last step to have x would be to divide by 32 on both sides. And x equals 5. Okay, so that would be, now I have the value of x, and it equals 5. So now I'm going to go to this original one over here that I have as y equals and sub in now for x. So I'm going to write it again, y equals, and instead of the x, I'm going to plug in the value that I just discovered x to be, and then solve it. Okay, so here I'm going to have y equals negative 15 plus 23, and then the last step would be to put these together. This is a negative and a positive, so we have to subtract, and y equals 8. Okay, so now we get both values. Your last step is to check, so take one of the equations and check it. For example, I can take the bottom one and plug in the values, this bottom one right here. Okay, I can do 3 times 5 plus 8 gives me 23, and check if that's true. So does 15 plus 8 give me 23? Yes. Okay, and then you can do the same thing with the one on the top. Now when you have a calculator on the test, you can plug in the calculator exactly the same way you see here and put in the calculator 8 times 5 minus 8, and the calculator will tell you if it's true or false. And you do the same thing with the second one. So in other words, do a calculator check for both and make sure that your answers are correct before you enter your answer. So the answer to this system of equations would be 5, 8. Or I'm sorry, I don't know why I wrote x. 5, 8. 5 for x, 8 for y.